And hello, everybody in Squatch World. Welcome to Hairyman, Hoaxes, and Hoodwinks. And we're here again for another episode of the bamboozled and the shammed and whatever else you want to call it. So, but thank you again for everybody coming and supporting my channel. And of course, we always have Beelin. Thank you so much for being here. Michael Hayward. Let me move this a little bit. Haywood, sorry. Sam Deloche. Hi, Sam. Haven't seen you in a long time. Something to Sasquatch about. Sean. Of course, Donald Fuller. Hello, Mr. Donald. And Sandra, of course. Always there. Rod. Browndorf. Hello. Mr. Lockbeard, the most favorite person in all the chats. Mr. Harding, good evening to you as well. JC, hello. Hope you're feeling better. And Mr. Witt, thank you for being here. So let's boogie on over and bring on some guests and panel members. So first we have Mr. Joe. Welcome.
How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
Come on, I'm trying to be upbeat.
How you doing?
How you doing? Okay, that's more like it. Yeah, I did tell somebody I was going to be spicy tonight. So
And you certainly are.
I got to be spicy. And now we have Mr. Brent. Welcome, Mr. Brent.
Howdy.
How's your night?
You guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
That's great. Loving it.
You're not green tonight.
Well, the night's young.
Okay.
The night's young.
And now we've got Mr. Pot. Hello, Mr. Squatch Talk.
Hey, Nikki, what's up?
Welcome
Hey.
to my domain.
Yes.
Now I got all the buttons.
You have all the power. If I could opine on your intro,
yes.
The two things, real quick, if you'll let me, the two things that I'm connected to in your intro is number one, I'm somewhere in that crowd.
Yes, you are.
Yes, I am. Somewhere in that crowd of that shot. And number two, I've used that music for online marketing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that exact same
Well,
music.
it's one of the free ones. It's out there, but
yeah, it is. It is. It's
I
a
like it.
freebie.
It's kind of upbeat. I like it.
It is. It is. I've used it for like before and afters, like morphing before and afters. Yeah.
I've kind of changed my outro every time, but I like my intro. I'm just gonna leave it.
Yeah.
Until I get totally tired of it, and then I'll make a new one.
Yeah.
But
so
tonight we're gonna talk about the Falcon Project. What happened? I don't know. Let's kind of go through it and see what some of the facts are about the Falcon Project. I'm not calling it a hoax or a hoodwink or a scam. We're just going to go through it because it was something that a lot of people had a lot of interest in. We wanted to see it succeed. We wanted to see that putting technology to use was going to help us, as Pat says, move the ball forward. So, and it didn't. So, didn't happen. And so for those who don't know, the Falcon Project was something brought together by a man by the name of William Barnes, and if you are in the chat, Mr. Barnes, you are welcome to come in here and tell us anything you'd like, any information that we do not have. Please feel free to come forward in the chat or ask for a link and we'll bring you on. I know he's still around. I've seen him pop up in several groups on Facebook, so I know he's still around. Well, Mr. Barnes, William Barnes, had hopes of getting money and making an air dirigible to put out and look for the Bigfoot. And of course, he had high hopes and had a huge price tag on that. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the specs of this. It was gonna be called the Aurora.
And what year was this that
This
the
was,
initial proposal started?
It started in 2015, around January 2015. And because after that, you can see where Jeff Meldrum starts to get more involved around March. So January is the first actual date in 2015 that I found. And I know there's more information out there that I wasn't aware of, and should have pulled more. But I'm not here to really. I just want to know what the main facts of this are, and what really happened. He wanted to create this Aurora airship, which was going to be a 35-foot dual cell catamaran style airship.
And this is a prototype design too, correct?
Yes. This was going to be the invention of Stephen Barclay.
Yeah,
Barclay. I don't know how to say his name.
And there's that one concept photo that is prevalent with this.
Yes, I'm gonna pull that up right now.
You have that, Nikki? You already have that.
And the Falcon Project website is still an active website, so anybody can go check it out in chat. If they want to check out the website directly, it's still an active link.
Yeah, that's the concept art for the machine.
So is it like two Goodyear blimps, like
fused
basically together with drone type of technology in the middle?
Yeah,
with cameras and whatnot.
This airborne ship was supposedly supposed to have a 10-hour battery and carry 75-pound payload, consisting of cutting-edge thermal imaging cameras and a high-definition videography equipment.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's quite stunning, what they had a concept for.
And I believe the price tag was around $260,000, wasn't it?
Correct. Yeah. What I had found is that they were looking to pay for this through Kickstarter and independent donations, and
this is just to
fan-backed monies.
Yeah.
That was,
and that's
all
just
gonna,
to create it.
What was that?
Oh, and that's just to create the theoretical concept design of that aeroship.
Correct. That's where the majority of that money was going to go. But he not only had,
and I take it there was no other
involved, in this, because he had to have ground crew and specialized people who were going to actually run the airship, and even well, I have the whole list here. I don't want to jump ahead, but
sorry. And Pat at this. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say he had not just Dr. Jeff Meldrum involved, but John Bindernagel was on board. John Majewski was on board, and then of course you had Barclay, who was an aeronautical engineer and owner of the remote aerial tripod systems, or RATS Incorporated in Alberta, Canada. So there was good people that were involved in this.
And I actually, the only thing that I really know about this Falcon Project, I actually found out about it through Jeff Meldrum, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was interesting and intriguing. And when I saw the thing, and I saw that they were trying to raise money for it, and I thought, well, man, this is something I can get behind. So I donated some money. It wasn't a lot, I mean, I'm not one of them guys. I'm not rich by any means. Not a high dollar, but I figured every little bit helps. And so I donated to it, but Then it never took off apparently, and there was various haha, no pun intended.
Right. Well, Jeff Meldrum was brought in, as we know.
Then my money was sent back to me. So
so you got your money back?
Yeah, my money was sent back to me, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah.
Well, what happened? I did, of course, the money was sent back, but I was left with, wow, why didn't it take off?"
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I was gonna
had a huge price tag on there.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna ask Patrick, or I was gonna ask Pat there. In 2015, from what your experience with drones and stuff, did they have that type of technology that at a $260,000 price tag?
No.
Like what type of technology did they have back there that was state of the art?
Yeah, it was 2015. The drones, there were Phantoms. There were already Phantom drones out. 1, 2, maybe even 3. I want to say was out at that time. But
those were like 12-minute flight times, though, right?
Yeah. Correct.
At that time.
And but that technology was already out. The drone would have been a $2,000 thing to have an aerial platform, as opposed to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you: when you see that concept drawing, with you being a certified drone pilot, how do you feel about flying something like that around in the forest? Do you think it's a feasible option?
No, it's ridiculous. It was ridiculous then. It's ridiculous now.
Is it? Can you elaborate?
Yeah, sure. For a couple of reasons. Number one, it's a extremely inefficient platform. It moves it would move very slowly. So you could never, like, if you got something interesting, say off, let's say even half a mile, it'd take you 5 minutes to get there. Whereas a drone can fly anywhere between 20 to 40 miles an hour. They can shoot that distance way quicker. And number two, actual airspace issues with something that big. Somebody already mentioned, I think it might have been Donald, mentioned already FAA issues. So you can't just plop something that huge up in the sky anywhere in the national airspace.
Well, actually, there's a way around it. If you go up on top of a mountain, that's considered your ground level, and then anything in the valley you can actually scope through. So you can go, technically, you can use it through valleys. But what would actually be really cool is to have like drones, just have that be like a mothership, and just have drones just like go from it. If they see like a really cool spot, they just like, I know I see it in movies or something.
Oh yeah,
probably don't have that technology, but that would be so cool.
Here's the issue with the Falcon Project concept is that it's a big aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Nikki wants to pull up we've already seen it a few times. It's huge. All right, so that's a big aircraft. That is not a drone. That's not a tiny little drone. So you put that up anywhere in the national airspace, dude. You forget about it. You can't just do that with giant aircraft like that. It's like the Goodyear blimp without permission in certain airspace. So the FAA, that would have been a huge problem. And because especially in some of those areas, like what I have here in North Georgia, some of the areas I want to look for Sasquatch with a drone, I'm actually in a military operations right here on this chart, military operations area. You might have an F-16 fly through there, at 250 knots.
Well, that's the thing is there's this valley that I go investigate at, and like twice a day on certain days of the week, there's 2 fighter jets that do a low tree clearing, just a low run, and they're actually on YouTube with their flight plan and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I could see like just a drone randomly up there, like causing a crash, really.
Yeah, and JC saying 35 feet, that's huge. Yes, it is in the air. For something to be up in the air, that is actually very big compared to a 35-inch, if that, not even 35-inch, more like a 12 by 12 drone.
But if you get like a
12-inch drone,
but if you get one of those high-end drones, though, those are like a foot to 2 feet across.
They get bigger. They
Mm-hmm.
get bigger if they have like if they're eight propellers. So those are designed to carry like professional television, movie, film cameras, payloads, and if one propeller fails, it won't come out of the sky, and you won't lose your $150,000 camera. But yeah, 35 feet in the air is huge. That's about the length of an F-16 itself. So, or at least a Cessna. That's a big aircraft to be up in the air, especially given the concept art. And you see that it's dirigible. So it doesn't just have like length or width. It also has that three-dimensional girth to it,
Right.
So it would be a big useless aircraft to put up in the sky to look for a Bigfoot. 100%. Technology's taken over. Like there's zero use for anything like that
but we're still back in 2015 era. So
sure.
Yeah. So I'm sorry. You definitely go on, Nikki. The rest of the
Well, it was, a helium-filled airship. So, I guess their idea was that it would be quieter and all that. But like Pat said, it's going to be a lot slower than a regular drone would be.
Yeah, tons.
For sure. But Jeff Meldrum, when he was brought in, he was actually recruited
it was never built.
as a scientific advisor. So he was more involved in all this than I even had initially suspected when I first started looking into this, because he had all kinds of dealings, and that's why the Idaho State University was in charge of the monies. So all that fundraising and money was my idea. They did go back to whoever the donors were, when it didn't meet its requirements.
Yeah, and that's the explanation I got, that it just the requirements for the funds weren't met. So here's,
just like when you order T-shirts and you don't fill all your T-shirts ordered, that money goes right back to your account. When they don't get.
Thank you for your interest. Here's your money back. Have a nice day.
Yeah,
right.
Well, it was a poorly designed, inefficient machine that technology had already caught up with the idea of being aerial with thermal.
Yeah, here's a problem with this whole thing is the $260,000 price tag on something that got a lot of movement, even the support of Jeff Meldrum and all these donors, but it was for most of the money went towards a plane that wasn't even built. There was no models for it. It was just a drawing. And it's like, why did they go with that option when that $260,000 could have had somebody living out in these areas for years on end, really? Supply, it would be funding like a boots on the ground, like living amongst them type of thing, for decades, or not decades, but for a long periods of time in different areas, supporting, people who are that can actually go out and do it. But instead they went with all this money, and that's the thing with the funding, is it just put a black eye on the whole funding question in general.
Because the concept was bigger. It was a big idea, and somebody's pointing out in chat that actually goes back. The whole concept goes back to 2004, and so now that's a game changer. When you start talking about aerial power in 2004, you would have to kind of innovate something, because the drones didn't exist back then. And so it's all born out of the concept, which is actually very accurate, that if you put something in the air that has like high grade thermal technology, that's 10,000 times more powerful than any kind of boots on the ground effort, unless you want to send the fucking unless you want to send the military out there to get them. You know,
well, it was in tandem with the boots on the ground. The Falcon Project was, because there was boots on the ground. They were actually already on the ground and left, from my understanding, high and dry, and had to basically pay for everything themselves for a nothing burger.
Oh,
and
yeah, that's
just so it was kind of a tandem, kind of like what you want to do with Patrick. That's exactly what the whole concept was with the Falcon Project, but it never got off the ground because of the bloated NASA style airship that didn't even exist. I mean, no wonder why it failed, and I don't know why people even supported it.
I think they even requested that Barnes produce the company name that was going to be building, the airship, and
I mean, it's whatever, as long as everybody got their money back, I guess, but if there's, any shenanigans as far as, because, we all try, sometimes we, try things that just don't work and it is a bad idea in hindsight. And I don't know if that's what this is really, or what, but it just seems like such a stupid idea for wasting money.
The idea was fantastic.
Oh, well, yeah, but not let's create new technology out of nothing. And at
the time, and especially if it does go back to the early 2000s where the concept was actually born, at the time, your only option was a helicopter. And so you're talking about millions of dollars, dude. And maybe even technology you can't get your hands on, as far as like at the time would have been law enforcement grade thermal. I'm not sure a civilian could even buy that and attach it to a helicopter, much less the airspace issues. Again, once you get a real aircraft up in the air, if you're not in a Class G airspace, like somebody is like really keeping track of why you're there.
Well, if this started in 2003 or whatever you guys said, and it really conceptualized in 2015, why didn't they update the design with the growing technology, with the new emerging technology that's coming out? And they just said, "Hey guys, give us the
poor planning from the beginning."
Yeah,
they didn't have a clear focus on any of the steps you take in a project. I mean, you have your concept, you have your finances, you have your planning of the actual whatever you're building.
Go look at his website. It's the same thing that he was saying, like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. It's the same design. It's like, the Falcon Project is a it's a legitimate way to help gather evidence and help track the Bigfoots down, in real time with ground support, working in tandem, and using them more as tools, and not as like the crutch of the whole investigate or the whole
with
thing.
The same design, you're saying? Like,
no, he has the same design on his website to this very day. It's the same exact design. So it's like he's not even taking the effort to upgrade his own concept and ideas with the Falcon Project. It still was trapped back in AOL dial-up era.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Welcome,
I mean, we have thermal drones, so we don't need a dirigible. Yeah.
Hey guys, I just wanted to drop by real quick because I was like one of the first people to interview William Barnes on this whole thing, and awesome. The original design wasn't a dually; it was a single blimp. And I remember it because first it was this single blimp, and the whole idea was to put thermal on it, and the late great William Dranginis was trying to work up of course, Bill Dranginis was a FLIR expert and built them, outrigged his own vehicles with them. And he was trying to build this FLIR for them to mount on this dirigible. And at the time, drones were, you couldn't buy a drone. You couldn't go out and buy a drone.
What year was this? Are you talking about right now?
This had to be somewhere between 2007, 2008, 2009.
And I can see that. Yeah.
So drones weren't a thing. Then, of course, after 2011, we started seeing drones come out commercially and then eventually available to all the public. So the design got a little more elaborate, and then the ideas got more elaborate. And we're going to put this infrasound detector on it, and we're going to try to, all these crazy add-ons. And of course, when you start doing that and you just change designs,
that's ridiculous.
Mid-shift. So they were asking for money at the onset of this. So you can see how things just spun up and got really out of control. And there were some people that belonged to that organization that had left, and as things got more complicated.
Right.
Dr. Meldrum, I don't think was involved really as much as the project put it out to be. He was going to be, this analyst as stuff came in, but he wasn't actively planning the design of it.
I could see that.
Obviously not his field of expertise. So that's in a nutshell. And I just wanted to come on quick because I'm preparing for my own comedy of errors tonight. But I just wanted to put that out there that when this all first started, it was a great idea because they weren't planning on making this huge thing. Maybe a 4-foot dirigible that would go up, and of course that's not too bad. But then they were talking about wind concerns and all that stuff, and that's why they went to this dual model for more stability and support.
Which we don't need today because
exactly. Technology beat that out
by 1,000.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now the fact that you can purchase drones with these FLIRs on them or these thermal cameras. Yeah, they're not cheap, but hey,
they're not $200,000, bro.
No, they're like 10 grand. You can buy one with
10 grand.
10 grand versus,
and that's almost all camera. That's $8,000 camera on.
Like Joe can go out and buy 4 or 5 of them tomorrow, and completely missed. Joe, I don't know what planet Joe's on right now.
Earth to Joe. He's on a dirigible right now.
What was the question?
2 quick questions, Steve.
Sure.
So, how many people were actually stranded out there in the woods who were expecting, supplies and expecting the actual airship, who were promised all this financing, and they went out there thinking this thing was really coming? I mean, that's pretty bad.
I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. But you see, here's what I think happened, and this is only in theory,
right?
Is that there was a lot of Hollywood money that was supposed to be tied up into this. And the way Hollywood works is, if anybody has done any kind of filming, and I've done probably about 4 sizzle reels, and what they'll do is the production crews love to tell you, oh, we got ourselves a show. This is going to be great. This is going to be awesome. This is going to, this is money in the bank. They'll tell you whatever it is to keep you pumped up and aligned with that production company, because the last thing they want you to do is go to another production company with your ideas. So, I believe that's what happened, and that there was a lack of understanding of how Hollywood production companies work. And of course, the Hollywood production companies, they say this, but then they have to go to the networks to get the money to pay for it. So what I think happened is that somebody put the cart before the horse, and people were sent out in full anticipation that next week this production company is going out and start filming them, and there's going to be money for all this. And what happened was the networks went, no, thank you. Boom. So everything falls back. The bottom line is, unless you get a production company that gets you signed on the dotted line that on this day they're going to pay you X amount of dollars for this, even a talent contract is shaky until filming actually starts. So
what was it ever really about, the airship, or really about more getting a TV show?
I think originally,
or both.
I think the TV show was a later idea as a way of
I see.
Getting money. It's like, okay, this is a way we can finance this, because like Joe had said, his Kickstarter money got returned. obviously they wanted X amount of dollars. When the Kickstarter does not get X amount of dollars, all that money that's been goes back to, unless you hit your goal. So sorry.
Yeah. I mean, do you know who made the decision to allow those people to go out there without the ship even being made or tested or anything like that?
Would probably, I would have to think that would have been William Barnes. I would have to think. In my conversations with a couple of folks that actually did go out there, that's, their thing was, they said they were going to take care of us, and we went out there and nothing. And
I also heard that he was that I think it was all just a delay tactic for him to say that he wanted to send the ship to Africa to use as an anti-poaching trial, for a couple of months.
Well, that was
anti-poaching with
that was another way of, understand that sounds hysterical, but that was a way for him to get funding.
Yep.
If hey,
good cause.
What? We can, it's a good cause. We can get money for this. We can build this airship, send it over to Africa, for anti-poaching. It'll have the FLIR on there. I don't know what the hell an infrasound detector would do on it, but that was their idea, and I think it was an idea to raise money. So it sounded like to me, after years of doing this, they were getting more desperate and more desperate, trying to raise the money to build this thing. So and obviously it was never built.
Yeah, which I was really kind of, I'll admit it, man. I'll admit it. I was disappointed, man.
Well, I think we all were. We all wanted to be successful.
Yeah, but Brent, I was like, you know what? I was disappointed because I'm like, shit, they sent me my money back. Obviously, it's not, as pun intended, taking off. And because I was like, dude, if this thing goes anywhere and if it gets all the stuff that they wanted, people would be like, the Falcon Project, they do this, and I could have been like, yeah, I put money into that. And, I mean, and I was like, damn.
At the end of the day,
no, I can't say that.
At the end of the day, if that money would have been collective and
it was all about ego, man.
An actual ship was ever built,
it
would have been laughable just a year or two later when the Phantom 3 comes out and runs circles around something like that. It's just
it just doesn't. It didn't seem like it was a project that was kept up to date with current technology. And I'm shocked that they had those people go out on the ground when the ship wasn't even made. I mean, that's really like, why?
Well, didn't the recent expedition, Bigfoot expedition or whatever, didn't they have an airship on one of their episodes?
Wasn't it tethered to the ground too? I mean,
I can't remember, but I remember them going and it was blown up.
Oh yeah, it was
forever to blow up.
Yeah, it was tethered, which gets you. So if you tether something, that gets you around a lot of FAA regulations. So airspace issues change drastically if you tether something.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like flying. Like you don't need permission to fly a kite, right? You know what I mean?
Well, that might be a really good idea to have an anchor of sorts, like a buoy. You can put it up there and put some cameras attached to it, and then have those a 360 view around, so you can tether. And if you can tether like a whole area like that, that would be a really good idea to get something in the air, and then from there you can launch the drone, so you don't have to worry about the battery power. Because that's the thing, is you don't want the drone up there wandering around. The drone needs to go specifically to its target area. Sure. And a good way to do it would be a buoy of sorts like that. So I don't know, could work.
Ideally, if you're going to use a drone to look and film a Bigfoot, you want a minimum of 2 drones and 20 batteries. So you can.
I would get like 10 drones, man. If you're going to do this, a really good, well-funded, like we're talking like a Falcon Project type scenario here. I'd get like, I'd get like 10 to 20 drones because you're going to have some that are going to go out and bat, and you need.
That's the thing, is that the technology for the whole idea of Falcon Project funding actually exists now. It didn't exist when they came up with it, They were trying to invent this machine, never been built.
That's why it's like,
yeah.
Well,
with crappy thermal back then. Now we have way better thermal in a smaller package, faster, more accurate. So yeah, you're right, Brent. 10 modern day drones is 1,000 times better than the Falcon Project ever even considered possible.
Especially in lieu with those buoy type of things, you know, the buoy stations.
Yeah, well, I say we don't even need that. Just the 10 drones, that's good enough. Like,
well,
we're good.
But here's the questions beyond that. Okay, you get a 5 mile an hour wind. Drones aren't so good, are they? Because they're so light.
Wrong. So here's the ignorance with drones. So I have a drone that flies 45 miles an hour. Okay, right? So what happens when I put that drone in a 45 mile an hour wind? It stays still. It doesn't fucking move. In other words, the drone, however fast it can fly, it can handle whatever wind it's dealing with.
So,
well, you definitely want to have it, you deploy them on conditions and set up expeditions on, you know, when conditions are best suited, ideally.
Listen,
and that's where the planning and structure into a project really kind of goes into, where the Falcon Project seemed to really fail at, because again, look at his website. It's the same design and same discussion that he's having, you know, 10, 15 years ago. And
I just looked at the website tonight, and there's there's how to clean windows or something on it. It's something.
Oh yeah,
really
that's what
weird.
happened to me. That big old thing popped up, and I'm like, what the hell? You know how
Mm-hmm.
many Falcon projects are on the internet?
Yeah,
Ford Falcon this and Ford Falcon that, and
well, no, I found it on a link through the coalition group when I was kind of doing research on this. I found it through there, and I can send it to you. But I pulled it up because I'm like, oh wow, it's weird, it's still up, and it's the same design.
Stephen told me to go in there, and then I forgot.
So
it hasn't changed in years.
It's like it's a good concept. It's just, you know, it just seems like it wasn't well thought. Yeah, an old concept, but the project didn't really seem to take off because it was poorly planned.
The concept is sound today because we have the actual technology that.
Well, yeah. So the price tag, so the $260,000 price tag isn't going to be, you know, it's not that big of a, like, oh my God, you know, this is never going to happen, because nobody's going to fund $260,000 for conceptual design.
Listen, 10 grand get you a thermal drone that is 10 times more capable, has 10 times better FLIR recognition than a police helicopter in 2004. A police helicopter, law enforcement, actual, like $100,000, you know, $500,000 platform has been condensed into civilian hands in 2021. That's the power we have. That's why I talk about it all the time. But it's always met with crickets.
Well, you know, but it comes down to, you know, the people who are looking to use that technology to come up with a proposal of a project similar to what the Falcon Project was attempting to do, and really garner funds and support for something that way. And but the thing with that is you got to have accountability, and that's you know, it's a whole different topic. Actually,
always have to be accountable.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, well, every single dime be accountable and transparent, and because. I agree. Yeah, it's funding for Bigfooting now.
But yeah, I wanted it to be understood, dude, that yes, wind has almost no effect unless you're flying in a, you know, hurricane or a tropical storm. That can have an effect. But yeah, wind has.
Well, it also depends on the handler.
No, it doesn't. No,
well,
it doesn't.
You know, you can have, you know, like
all automatic. It's
well, hypothetically,
my Uncle Louie.
Hypothetically, in those 10 drones, though, you can have. Okay.
Listen, it's all automatic. It's within the software of the system. The modern drone connects to 18 GPS satellites, and those feeds from those 18 GPS satellites, they make the corrections with the props and the power. You don't have to do a damn thing. You could put that drone up in the air with a 15 mile per hour wind coming from the west, and that drone stays put, and I mean stays put.
Well, especially for like the search and rescue drones too.
Yeah.
You know, they're pretty durable and stuff. But I think a lot of it just comes down to, you know, set up your expeditions when there's, you know, little to no wind, and maybe have a tier of drones so you can have little small ones that can go through the trees and then all the way up to the
that's
massive.
different. If you're going to be below the canopy, that's a different factor.
So, you know, if you're going to do it right, man. Do it above and below and everything you can do to make the most success from a thing.
If you're going to do it right, you know, like use military grade, you know, Reaper drones and get the military involved.
I encourage Bigfooters to you know, go. I don't know. Never mind.
So then the big question is for today, could we do a Falcon 2 project with drones instead?
Yes.
I would still have our biologists, our wildlife specialists, our military experiencers, all that.
No,
we have to
need that. You need backup. You can't just have. Yeah, you do, because you still need to collect evidence on the ground.
Why, if you have the footage?
Because nobody believes footage. You need everything.
I disagree. You don't understand advanced thermal fucking technology. It will be conclusive.
Well, the thing is, you got to get to that. The thing is, you got to get. The thing is, you got to get to that point. You know, even the drone footage is going to not even really be good enough unless you're going to have the ground data to go with it. You know, the boots on the ground observation.
Go in afterwards.
Well, no, that's the thing. It's a tandem.
GPS is locked in. It's a tandem thing. Afterwards and look at the ground data.
Yeah. It's a tandem thing because
not.
No, it is. Well,
you don't have to have tandem.
Well, let me ask, how many Bigfoot expeditions and outings have you been on?
0.
Well, so I mean, I don't know.
How much evidence has been produced from those outings and expeditions that other people have been on? 0.
Yeah, for the most part. Well, I mean,
there you go.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, I could fly 2 miles out, spot a Bigfoot, film it for 15 minutes.
But I don't think you realize how to get to that point. You need to go out on the expeditions more to get a better feel of how to get yourself in that situation. That's the thing. Because that's the problem now is people are just going out there and just randomly throwing up their drones at wherever. And that's why people aren't getting the drone footage. And that's the thing is you have to have tandem boots on the ground. The drone is just a tool to help assist with collecting evidence.
Success. Right? We all want success.
We all want success.
The same goal.
Yeah.
And you want to have all your bases covered. There's no way you would invest that much money and that much special equipment and special people who have to run those machines and everything, and then not have somebody else on the ground, to pull in the rest of the information.
Well, it's all part of the expedition.
I gotta agree with that because I mean, you have to have the other data to back up whatever you're getting footage of. You have to have, everything. You have to have the footprints of that thing that you were filming. You have to have DNA evidence from it. All that stuff, man. I mean, I think it's a great idea, and I understand where you're getting to, Pat, but nobody's going to accept just pure footage, whether it's drone.
Yeah, because it can easily be considered as CGI. No, it's just a tool that because you're really passionate about it, and that we all see it's something that you're really passionate about. But we're also trying to say it's a little more complex than that. As far as getting those people, it is though. It's
not when it's the most powerful tool for observation.
Okay, so
the most powerful tool.
Then why isn't there Bigfoot footage out there? Why isn't there Bigfoot footage out there from drone footage with all the people out there?
Brent,
there's drones out there. There's drones out there all over.
People are using drones. They're just not
nobody's using
bringing it up on their.
Well, I will say that there's nobody really utilizing them in an expedition that in a very useful way because a drone is only up in the air for max 30 minutes. So
45
yes,
max.
Mr. Steve.
Yeah. Bouncing out.
No video, no photo, no audio will ever, especially when it's taken by somebody that's out looking for a Sasquatch that gets one, will ever prove this mystery. Period. Will not
I agree
happen.
with that.
Science will. So it doesn't matter how good of a thermal image you will get of a Sasquatch. It's not going to prove anything to science. Period.
No, that's not true. That
no, that's very true.
No,
that's very true.
Absolutist.
Very true.
Well, Patty has not proved anything to science.
Okay, it can compel scientists to look into it further, can it not?
Well, maybe, but there's still going to be like, where's the footprints? Where's the ground follow up of the whole investigation?
Science will claim the lack of science.
Oh my God, dude,
to follow it.
What if it was 15 minutes of footage instead of a minute of footage?
Pat, they have gotten prints with dermal ridges, and science won't look at it. They won't look at it.
That's physical evidence. I'm not talking about prints. I'm talking about footage.
I'm talking about physical evidence, not somebody that can doctor with CGI. Not saying.
Okay, that's the thing. It's the CGI is so prevalent now. That's easily. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I address that?
It doesn't matter.
And both of you know this. Brent and Steve, you both know this. Metadata. All right. Metadata is provided. There's no insertion of CGI. The camera saw what it saw. Next.
Wrong.
You still can't prove that there's not a person in the suit.
You will not prove to a scientist that
I didn't hoax.
Video taken from 200 feet away by a thermal camera.
50 feet.
Or even 50 feet.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You're the one that said hoaxing with CGI. I just debunked that. Metadata debunks it.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
It'll never be accepted. It won't, even if you have anything that's you could falsify it,
I'm addressing Steve, who's saying insertion of CGI can be debunked by metadata. Absolutely.
Metadata can be inserted too now.
There
are so many things that what they actually have to do is break down this video. But I'm going to tell you, science is not going to do that. They're going to say, sorry, it's not enough. We need physical evidence. Simple as that.
It's not that simple.
Then they're going to ask you, Pat, what's your scientific process?
I'm not ducking out of this discussion.
What's your scientific process? Pat, you're going to find yourself. Listen, I've been doing this for goddamn 22 years, and I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you that you're going to find yourself on the very cynical end if you believe, know the fight you're coming into. That's the big thing. You got to know the fight you're coming into. You don't think I've had that attitude before? Oh, a good picture will do it. Sure, I have. It doesn't work no matter what. Science is going to reject you categorically. You're not going to prove nothing. And the minute you put any type of picture out there, people will tell you you're a phony, you're a fraud, you're wrong, you're this, even though you could be the most legit person in the world. You know that.
But if you had a ground follow-up collecting prints and there was multiple, really good solid expedition, collecting prints and maybe hair samples or that were actually unknown and stuff like that, maybe the print or the picture would be better received at that point. But if it's just a random picture, it's not going to do anything. It's so fakeable now.
And it takes all the cooperation of everybody.
Well, it comes down to how does real research in the real world, like not Bigfooting stuff, how does that operate? And that's how we just need to operate on those type of standards. And Steve talks a lot about it. And I actually got one of your videos on my channel there talking about your tenets and stuff. And because, we just need to be better at it and better figure out how to research it and all the things that we need. That is just not one all end all with like drones. It's a tool. It's not going to be the one thing. It's just a tool to help us get to where we need to go and to help collect evidence that will be hopefully backed up by other boots on the ground and that type of thing.
Yeah
Exactly.
I agree. I mean,
I didn't mean to tick Pat off. I think.
Oh, he had to take a phone call. He had to take a phone call. Yeah, he had to. Yeah, he's cool. Because he's passionate about it.
I don't want him building up his expectations, and
I think he kind of is, because I don't think he has a lot of experience in the real world with an expedition, like the boots on the ground, how the variables that he's going to encounter that he's not taking into account with his current presentation.
Yeah. Well, guys, I got to run because I got a show in another hour and I got to eat dinner. So,
all right.
We shall see you later.
We'll see. Nikki, I will see you. Joe, I will see you in a little bit. Brett, throw me a PM if you want to come on tonight too. We're going to do a Hall of Shame induction tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm always down. I'll send you a link or a PM.
Awesome.
All right, man.
All right. We'll talk to you soon, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Well, that was great that he came on to help kind of, make sure everything was presented and stuff.
When I saw him in the chat, I know he had a show right after us and he was preparing. So that's why I didn't kind of just get him to come. It's hard because when you're trying to prepare stuff for shows, but that all of this is great. This is exactly what I wanted to happen, is for us to talk about it, and these are
I'm learning stuff about it. I'm learning about it.
Why did they happen? And it takes a lot of people to make a project like that come to fruition.
Yeah.
To have professionals in each area, not just the ground, not just the air, but the finances. And you need to have somebody to oversee all of it to make sure that goals are met at their allotted times.
And
that's
the accountability,
business, that's professional.
Yeah, I would say create it like a business plan, a marketing plan, with goals, expectations, timeframes, accountability, and that's that's what I think projects should start doing going forward, if they want to, be perceived better, I guess. I don't know.
A drone that could tag a specimen from 50 feet away with a very small GPS tracking device would be helpful. More plausible than a helium-filled airship during hunting season. True.
Yeah.
I mean, depending if you could chase it and shoot it or whatever. I mean,
that was so adorable that they wanted to send it over to Africa to prevent the poachers from killing animals. Right. It's like, wow, there's an airship there and it's inflatable. I'm sure that's going to last 5 minutes.
There's a couple $100,000 down the drain.
Yeah.
They're not afraid of shooting people. Why are they going to be afraid of shooting a thing out of the sky?
As long as the gas isn't hydrogen, I wouldn't let it explode.
So, and then if you're just tagging them, putting them to sleep, and if it turns out to be a person in a suit, well then.
Night.
Yeah.
You didn't kill anybody.
Yeah, you don't really going to find too many people running around the woods at night in a suit, though.
You'll be surprised. There's stupid people everywhere.
Yeah. I know that one guy who was running across the street. You might find that, but just randomly out in the woods, no. I don't think
anyone. One guy that was out there in the suit and his girlfriend, and they
running across the road.
The road one, and then there was one back in the woods, and there's all kinds of stories.
It's the Darwin Award. Then it's the Darwin Award. If somebody wants to roll like that, then it's like, thought it was a bear.
Yeah,
it's coming right for me.
I guess I'm out of my mind, because when was the last time you ever heard of somebody being disappointed that they got their money back?
Well, yeah, I mean, it sucks. I mean, I wasn't in the Bigfoot community at that time, but I still heard of that thing, but I never really heard it go anywhere. I just, I think it was probably some headline I read somewhere or whatever. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's cool.
Was looking, and there was a lot of people who were involved in wanting to beef up the Falcon Project, like Bill Munns and Derek Randalls, and they had this seminar thing in 2013.
Why didn't anybody pick up the red flag of all the money's going towards a ship that hasn't even been built yet, don't even know the aerodynamics is even possible in the setting that we're asking for it to be in?
I think that all had to do with William Barnes. I think he was probably a very good talker.
Well, I don't know. It's just I don't know if I was on that, like, I don't know if I was being asked, I'd be like, I don't know, guys, we shouldn't spend all that money on that. We should go focus on spending it elsewhere, get boots on the ground for months on end and doing that. But I guess that's why nobody asked me.
Look, 25 advanced, 30 at the door.
Nobody asked me. I just heard about it, and I was like, well, I'm going to donate. And that's only because, like I said, I heard about it through Meldrum, and you know, I have great respect for him.
What did I do?
And so so that's why I donated to it. But yeah, it's, you know, I didn't ask those questions that you just said, Brent, and that's only because I absolutely know nothing about drones, man. Really, I have a $200 crappy drone that I bought years ago, and I still don't know how to fly that damn thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, well, it's I don't know. It's kind of what it is. I don't know. It was maybe a good idea. I don't know. It just seems like it wasn't well thought out, and like.
And I agree with you on that.
Yeah, and mismanaged. Like the fact that the crew went out when the ship wasn't even made. Did he lie to these people? Did he lie to the people?
He had to have flat out lied if people were out in the field.
And it's like out. You know, it seems really weird if because I'm always like looking at it from all angles, and it's like, well, was just used to try and create a TV show? Because wouldn't the TV show, hey, let us see this designed ship and stuff, let's start filming it and start doing all that stuff? It wasn't. It seemed like, you know, they I don't know, just doesn't make sense to send them out there when the ship wasn't even tested, built, or
according to financed. Some of the stuff I saw, it said that they had Jim Halfpenny, a renowned tracker, licensed guide and founder of the Track Education Center and Museum in Gardiner, Montana, John Bindernagel, with the Canadian International Development Agency, John Mayaninski, the wildlife consultant. Who else did it? Pete Anelio, who was over 20 years experience in geospatial field and is a technical manager of Environmental Systems Research Institute. If these people were really involved, you know, this was just the people probably behind the scenes that they were going to make like managers or project people. Who are the other people on the ground? That's what I want to know. I want to know.
I don't know. It seems like a bloated.
On the ground. I never found any names.
Oh, I talked to somebody who was on one of the people with the boots on the ground, but I don't want to talk to or mention him. But he was boots on the ground, and left high and dry. You know, I forgot a lot of the conversation because it was like a couple of years ago, and so there were people that were actually on there, but it's just I'm going to reach out to him again to find out. It's like, well, were you actually told? You know,
I probably could have found some names and tried to get somebody on here, but it all comes down to the same thing. The money wasn't made, promises were made that didn't get fulfilled, and it was a huge mismanagement, and people felt scammed. You know.
Yeah.
Well, But especially the people on the ground, because apparently they had to pay out of their own pocket and, you know, spent money on gear that, you know, I think William probably at least owes them an apology or some type of financial compensation or something like that, or an acknowledgement that, you know, that's kind of messed up, especially if, I mean, he's probably likely the one who sent him out there. It's like, why would he do that? You know, it's just, it just doesn't make any sense, especially when they're supposed to be the boots on the ground in tandem with the airship.
Right.
But no, they went out, they just rushed him out there with the film crew. And it's like, I guess, you know, maybe to help get more funding, but even then it's like he left them high and dry. So he really needs to be accountable for those people that he left high and dry for. So if he's watching, he should reach out to him, and I don't know.
Right. So, hey, okay. So I think we did this topic pretty good justice tonight.
Yeah, I think bringing Steve on really kind of knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, he had some information. I knew it had started before, but information wise, big stuff started to happen in that 2014-15 era, that I was seeing.
Yeah, when I was doing my
because if there's no money, if there's nothing, no Kickstarter, I think at that time they were just getting you get the word out and you start what do you call it? Is it crowdfunding?
Yeah.
Start making your connections and start building, so start getting the money flow. And if there was a money from Hollywood or bigwigs or whatever, that's something I didn't even know about. So
yeah, I mean, that's why it's a good thing to discuss this, especially for the people coming in, because we all learned something about the Falcon Project and where it went wrong and where it actually would have succeeded at and why it was in a could have been a good idea. It's just it's good to bring these up and discuss them.
I think a new project could come to fruition, with way better management, of course.
Well, it would have to be a total detachment from the Falcon Project, because again, look on his website. Yeah, it's stuck back in decades ago. So, and it was completely mismanaged. But that's the thing is, well crafted expeditions. That's what really need to be done, and to really, I think, collect better evidence and more people working together in tandem, which a lot of people do, but just dialing it in just a little bit more with how research is done and stuff.
Right. Well, without money, nothing's happening.
I can tell you that
financial part is just such a vital thing.
Well, that's the thing with the Falcon Project. It kind of left a black eye in everybody's mind that Bigfoot financing is trying to fund somebody or like look at the whole disaster with Project Sea Monkey, and so it's just so you get all these things that are just not what they were supposed to be or could have been, so nobody wants to touch it. I guarantee you any of those names that you brought up in the Bigfoot community or whatever, I guarantee you if you ask them to be a part of some future project, they're not going to touch it. Nobody is going to touch it, because a lot of people realize that they get used for their name too. Like people would just want Jeff to be a part of it just to use him for his name. And I think they're starting to catch on to that a lot more and not falling for some of these things that they shouldn't have kind of really been associated with, or really should have, questioned, why is this $260,000 price tag for a ship that not even built, that's not even designed or tested or anything. It's like,
right.
It's just like a pet project for some personal person out there. Same with Project Sea Monkey. It was a pet project for Thomas Seawood to help promote his tourist business that he's trying to set up, and had under the guise of a Bigfoot expedition that was funded by the public, and they never got their documentary either that they were promised from it.
Yeah, there's been a lot of little projects going on, and some have been successful. I mean, not in finding Bigfoot, but in getting data anyway. And
I actually
have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just getting, that's kind of what what all our discussions are, is getting in the right mind frame and right perspective to go out and really try and find actual evidence and not wishful thinking stuff.
Okay, well, let's move on. I got some pictures that I know all of you have seen before, and we'll just quickly go. A lot of them don't even have a big backstory. If you know backstories of some of these, that you never know which is the real.
And that's probably the main problem with them, is they don't have a backstory.
Yeah.
Well, for me, that's a red flag where I just never accept it anyways.
That looks like a man in a suit. Sorry.
Yep.
That's my judgment right there. That's a costume.
How many people were out there going, "Oh my God, that's what I see in my backyard all the time"? Well, I mean, this even made Coast to Coast AM. And according to them, a man in Northern California set up a trail camera on his chicken coop 3 years ago because he thought foxes were trying to get into his chickens. One night he heard a commotion and went out to see what it was. When he got to the chicken coop, he thought he saw something big slip away into the darkness. He checked the trail cam for images, and this is what he captured.
Yeah, no,
A
that's
man in a suit.
That's fake.
To me, it looks like that.
Yeah, almost. Almost.
You know?
There's just so much that doesn't add up. Sorry.
I'm in
this is another reason why right there, man. That's why, pictures aren't going to be good enough.
Yeah. Right. I'm in a various like off the grid type of communities and stuff, primitive living and whatever. And someone actually posted a picture of, because their chicken coop was getting raided every night. And this is a non-Bigfoot group, and they posted this picture, and it looks like a Bigfoot wearing a shirt. Like, and no, like, and everybody's like, oh, it's just a homeless person and stuff. But looking at it, it's like, oh, wow, that's like Bigfoot wearing a shirt, So it's kind of weird. Kind of remind me of that photo there. Nobody was alleging that was a Bigfoot or anything. Yeah. Everybody was just telling them, oh, it looks like you got a homeless person going in stealing your chickens.
Well, all I can say
I'll send you that picture though, because it's a really like, wow, that's a big guy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what else I got. Up my sleeve. Oops.
It's something obvious, man. I mean, there's so many red flags in there, I can't even begin.
Okay, back in around 2008, a picture came out with a Bigfoot in a forest fire. And it was
poor guy.
This oldie but goodie.
Well, first of all, that picture came out when, Nikki?
Well, the first one I saw was in 2008, and it was actually out of a Japanese something or another, because it was.
I think that picture's been around a lot longer than 19.
Oh yeah, it's been around a while, but Facebook hasn't been around all that long.
Yeah,
so,
right.
It does its rounds, and it is old, and I know the Crypto Crew also has it on their website, and I've been on a lot of other ones, but
I mean, the picture could be taken in a way that is supposed to make it look vintage, but if that picture is as old as it's supposed to be, then people start thinking, well, they don't have costumes back then that are that good, and you got to look at the face and go, well, that does look like an actual face, not a mask.
So the initial idea was that this is an illustration. That somebody created for a story that was on a magazine.
That looks like a picture. It doesn't look like.
It does look like a photo.
Yeah. Yeah, the detail of the trees is.
Oh yeah, well they can get detailed where it looks just like a real picture.
I mean, I've seen this photo before. I just don't remember where I've seen it.
Maybe a movie.
Has anybody else in the chat seen this?
It looks like a photo. There's a sepia tone to it, is what you would call it. Yeah, I'm saying like pretty much.
Well, those are not real toes. I mean, those are not.
Well, that's what I'm looking at.
Those aren't alive.
The feet don't
they're
look
sticking
real.
Straight out like that. They're not even
the
touching
feet. Yeah,
the
I gotta
ground.
agree.
No,
I mean, that's what I was like. The feet itself do not look real.
It's not a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
It's not a Bigfoot. I'm just saying it doesn't look like an illustration. It looks like a photo that was either taken or manipulated into a sepia tone,
right?
To make it look older.
Yeah.
Right. So sepia tone is what you see like sort of Wild West photos, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of thing. And the knee is way wrong. The knee is way too high. For a Sasquatch, for sure.
Well, and why is Bigfoot there posing?
Like, yeah.
That's another one.
It's just a.
Hey, hold still.
Yeah. Why is he posing?
Let me get the old tiny flash out too. you know.
Hey, you know which one I kind of fell for, or I wanted to believe so bad I believed it, was the one that was on the National Enquirer with that Bigfoot, you know, the one that kind of looked weird and stuff. That was when I was like, oh wow, that's got to be real, got to be real. But you know, I was really naive and stupid back then.
I agree. I think it's probably a
I'm not
Japanese
naive
monster
anymore.
movie because I found all kinds of stuff Japanese about it.
Yeah, it kind of got that a Japanese type of look towards it, you know.
Yeah, you see this straight line on what would be
the front,
the elongated
right here?
chin on the right
here.
leg. Yeah, that almost looks like a boot. Like
right
here?
there, yeah,
yeah, you're right.
Off perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, the knee is just way too high. Even for a human, Sasquatch knees are actually lower than our knees for their proportions. Patterson Gimlin film proves that, and so yeah, it's just you know, I mean, it's not a Bigfoot, I can tell you that. Whatever it is.
Okay, well, it's not real, but it was cool looking.
But it's cool looking.
Yeah, I'll give it that. It is cool looking.
Now we're gonna move on to the Washington Bigfoot, the Chris Wallace.
My neck of the woods. Low Reds.
No, if I can find it.
No, I thought you meant Washington, D.C. for a moment. I was like, wait a minute, there was one in D.C.? What was he doing? Lobbying for more woodlands.
So here's the fuzzy picture.
Yeah, that's too blurry.
Come about all the
My
time.
favorite.
We always see that pop up from time to time. It's either that one or this one pops up from time to time.
Yeah, actually, I've never seen those. I've never seen those before.
And you'll find them cropped, you know, zoomed in, kind of different. But this was the original.
So if we're looking at this and presented with this piece of evidence right here, the first thing I would ask is, where is the other pictures that you had? Is this, you know, like, I would be taking 40 pictures, you know,
where's the video?
And there is tons. There is video. There is video, but I didn't get the video.
Oh, okay. So
because I'll tell you in a minute why. But there's a ton of these pictures. I only picked out 2. They all look like this. Okay, they all are like this or like this, like that. Where's the other one? I don't know if you can see those, but those pictures keep popping up everywhere too. And like I said, cropped and changed in the story saying, oh, yesterday my buddy did, you know, caught this.
Is that all the same forest it looks like?
Yeah, it's all in the same place because this was
somebody having fun with
actually
afternoon.
Matt Moneymaker did release the photo on Twitter, one of the photos on Twitter, and claimed that it was a 4th-hand Bigfoot photo given to him and that he considered it a real photo.
4th hand? Well, of course, it's Matt Moneymaker.
But in fact, it is actually a suit, and it was created for a Bigfoot mockumentary by Chris Wallace.
So did Matt Moneymaker ever recant his statement about it being a legitimate photo?
Nope. No,
probably not.
That's the problem, and that's the problem in this subject is people.
And this is what Chris Wallace posted.
I agree.
There you go.
Here's his Bigfoot with the head off.
So you know, he needs to be more accountable for the stuff that he presents and its legacy that it has. You know, because man, people, you know, probably believe it because of Matt Moneymaker says it's Bigfoot.
Well, Chris Wallace also created the Gremlins. He did in 1980. He did the Fly Creatures.
That's awesome.
And you know, so he was just doing his job, and somebody got a hold of the pictures, and then bam, once they're on the internet, they're gone.
So it's the same with that one that Phil got sued for, that photo, that one photo where it's just a movie set photo.
Yeah.
You know,
same thing. Same thing. It gets somehow it gets out there, and other people use it to,
Create
say,
their own
hey, look
narrative.
at this Bigfoot. And then it, eventually maybe it gets back around to the producer or somebody on set, and they're like, no, that's from our set, like.
Well, there's that one that's floating around that looks like it was taken from the Letters from the Big Guy movie.
Yeah.
Like some screenshot or screen grab or some test footage or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So this one, doesn't it kind of give you the Freeman footage feel? Like the darkness, and maybe not because it's blurry,
Kind of looks like Mr. Hanky though.
Far out kind of picture,
Yeah.
And,
well, that's what I'm saying. Anyway, when it comes to pictures, anyhow, even if safe, supposedly, we'll entertain the thought that this wasn't proven to be what you just proved it to be. And with this kind of picture, even if I saw that, even if it was an actual Bigfoot, or if I even believed myself that it was a Bigfoot, as far as evidence goes, it's not good enough. Period. It's just not.
I agree. Pictures will never be good enough.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why. Look, I'm hoping
you gotta have them
on
moving.
video.
They have to be moving.
But am I going? If I ever did get a good video of one, would I just try to put that out there and use it as sole evidence? No, I'm not going to.
No, you shouldn't. If you get good video, you should either bring it to us.
I'm
or
going to
Meldrum,
or
High Check, or all the above, and we can all vet it. We can all vet it together.
High Check would be the first person I'd send it to.
There you go.
Followed by Meldrum.
Well, I would probably just release it and put it out there and give everybody full access to it to let all the people just have at it, and I wouldn't get emotionally attached to it if I found out it was a known animal or something.
Would you at least vet it privately with people you?
I would. I would do that privately before, but if I didn't have anybody, yeah. But if I didn't know anybody, a lot of these people out there, they just put it out there and oh look, it's Bigfoot. Yeah. And the public has to vet it out for them, which is unfortunate because people should do the due diligence.
Fortunately, I have people that are trustworthy, credible that I could send it to. And I mean, hey, look, the first thing, even if I knew for a fact that what I was filming, if it was that good, and I knew for a fact that I'm filming a damn Bigfoot, there he is right there. Say I met Rasta again someday in the forest and I got really good video of him and I know it's him and everything else, I would still send it to Doug Highcheck and say, look at this. I got a picture of Rasta. And I would send it to Meldrum and say, whatever, look at this. What do you think about it? I would actually also send it to a good, credible wildlife biologist and say, what do you think about this? Tell me what that is.
Well, if it's a clear picture, then, it's at that point, it'd be self-explanatory and just release it to everybody. Let everybody see it.
Well, that's the point.
Because Jeff's not really a photo analyst guy. He's a foot guy. Not. And, taking evidence to Jeff, other, than foot stuff, I don't know how much use he's going to have for evidence,
Well, true. In that way, I see what you're saying.
I mean, I would like his opinion just because, sort of.
Exactly.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully he would see the evidence, be like, hey, wow, that's really cool, and maybe repost it or something. But, yeah.
But yeah, that's like I said, man. It's just pictures, man. You gotta.
Who's that? Is this? That's not the Kiwanis guy, is it?
Of the doc with the gray guy.
I have no idea.
Oh yeah, that's if you go on. It's called.
I've seen that
because that's got God. What's his name? That's playing the drums. It's the Bigfoot documentary in 1997 where that guy comes from Britain or wherever. And he's trying to film Bigfoot. It's got Larry Lund in it. It's got chat. Help me out. Film me.
Well, they're the ones who are asking.
Oh shit. Well,
well, somebody in chat will know.
It's called Bigfoot, but it has a couple. It goes by a couple of different names. But it came out in 1997. The last I saw it was on. on Netflix. And God, what is that guy's name? Because he said that famous line everybody likes, Bigfoot, you don't go find Bigfoot, Bigfoot finds you.
Oh, I love that one. I love that.
Yeah,
one.
That's the guy who's playing the drums. What's his name?
He passed away. Hasn't he passed away now?
No. I think he's still alive. Yeah. Gosh, man. Oh, that is going to drive me crazy now because it's like.
And he's looking at the Bigfoot on the other side when it was a cow or something.
For what?
Didn't he look across to the other edge of the mountain, and they were looking at? He saw something moving on the other side.
Oh, I don't know. No, this one's back in 1997. And it had Larry London. Where they went into a radio station and with that guy and they did that, and then that guy who played the drums. Jeez, what is that guy's name? He's still alive. I was talking to him this year too about something else. It's Henry Franzoni. Henry Franzoni.
Okay.
That's who it is.
I don't
the guy
know.
who plays the drums. So just type in.
I know what
Henry,
you're talking about.
Yeah, just type in Henry Franzoni and Google, and I think IDBM or whatever will pull up the guy's documentary.
Oh.
Yes. Whew, man, that was gonna bug me forever.
Yeah, I'm glad you got that worm out of your brain. I'm happy.
Jeez, man, that was like
for you.
Being in there. No more questions, guys. That was a tough one.
Okay.
I could play some cowbell.
I didn't find nothing.
Yeah, it's Henry Franzoni. Franzini. I think it's Franzoni. Yeah.
Oh, what was that? It's gonna be bad if some hooker gets shot. Okay, so let's see what else I got. I got one more. We might be ending early tonight. This one, I was actually trying to get a hold of Bigfoot Anon to verify something for me. And he never
Tickle, Joe. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Come on. Okay, here we go. So this is called the Kelowna Print.
Kelowna Print?
Just one, yeah. I bet. Is it just one?
So a man in
this
is East Kelowna in British Columbia, and he claims that he woke up and this is what he found in his yard. And he got onto a news channel and wanted to warn all the people in his neighborhood to watch out because his garbage was strewn around and that Bigfoot was out there and everybody needed to be careful. So he was kind of doing it as a public service to warn people that.
Do you say he's warning his neighbors?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's probably like a rural area with neighbors and stuff. It could be just somebody pranking them.
I mean, we can look it up. I even have exactly East Kelowna, June Springs Road. It's a man by the name of Roy Watson. He claimed that he woke up and he saw this out there. It was a very large print. I'm keeping my dog indoors at night now, and I make sure my door is locked. I'm a full-on believer, is what he said. But in actuality, this was in February of 2021 that he claimed this as his own. Okay. And it showed up on a little homepage for their neighborhood. Whole story on it. But in December of 2020, it was used as the book cover for Connor Flynn's
Big Brother
Bigfoot. So I wanted to ask Connor where he got the photo, if it was just a stock footage or because I couldn't see it. But
yeah, man, that's interesting. So his story is basically BS then, right? Because this photo
so
predates his.
It just goes to show you how people will just do whatever, you know, to try to get notoriety or try to
get some attention.
Getting that attention, and it's just so blatant.
Well, it's interesting that yes, I don't know, it's just weird that you used it.
Again, a lot comes up about this picture, like, okay, there's one, where's all the rest of them? What was the measurement of the trackway? You know, there's all kinds of information that needs to be inserted here to even make a determination on that, because I mean, I can rule out bear, okay?
Yeah, I can come up with 10 different reasons why that's not real versus being real.
Right. So you need a whole lot more data. If that's supposed to be a real print, there needs to be a whole lot more data that goes along with it.
There's got to be more. Yeah, something. Like, and that's somebody's yard? Like, I don't know. That doesn't look like a yard to me.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to hear what Connor says about
Connor
that
would
print.
say. I was hoping I'd see him on a channel somewhere, but I haven't seen him in a couple days.
I haven't seen him around anywhere tonight on any of the shows.
He's probably out getting his life, his stuff done. He's got some interesting stuff.
As a general rule, if I'm out and I find something that looks like a print, and as a matter of fact, even if I found this, but if as a general rule, if I'm out and I find something, I think, oh wow, this could be a possible track. And even if it's a good one where I can make out toes and stuff, I've never found a pristine print. Let me tell you that right now. But if I can make out something that look like toes and this and that, I look for where the others. There's got to be a trackway, and I look for other ones. If that one is the only one I see, I dismiss it. I must be mistaken. Sorry, and I know a lot of people will be like, well, maybe the rest of the ground wasn't good enough to. No. I don't prescribe to that. If unless I've got a Bigfoot out there hopping around on 1 foot, because he lost a leg or something, and just leaving one print, but there should be more. And if there's no more, I got to dismiss it, because if I can't find more tracks,
it's almost too perfect. It's almost too perfect.
Yeah.
And that's what Jeff's saying right here. It's too perfect.
Yeah.
But we don't know, you know, because I wasn't able to get a hold of Connor to say, hey, did you make this for your cover? Because it's awesome, you know. He could have made it, but that's okay, because, you know, it was cover art.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't getting passed around as, and you know, that's the thing that people have to watch out for is you know, people taking old stuff and lying straight to your face about this evidence that it's theirs and that's how they got it. You know.
Now I don't know. I haven't read Connor's book. I don't know if there's a preface in there that talks about the cover art. If there is,
I was talking about
that wasn't my intention, you know, to do that.
Yeah.
But what else do we got? Memorex? I don't get that. Grasshopper. Didn't Leon cover this? Cover what? Cover what were we talking about?
Can't remember what we were talking about.
I don't know.
Yeah, it only had one leg. It was hopping around.
So what can we learn from the Falcon Project? Well, you know, manage your projects with great efficiency, keep up to date with technology, and incorporate it in with your ever-changing project, your ever-changing thing. And then, you know, organize it and in a way that it's going to, everything work together, all synergize, create a good plan for a research plan.
Right.
It's like you're starting a business, but look at it from going out there of what do we all need to do? What's our goal? How do we need to achieve it? And then what are the tools we're going to use? And then, and get it together.
And do more research than I did before donating money to these things. Even though, I got my money back, but still. You started talking, you're right, I should have looked more into it, but because of where I learned of the project from, I thought, well, he's not going to be involved in something that's not
was it Jeff Meldrum?
Yeah,
see, and that's what I wonder, if why Jeff Meldrum got involved, just to use him for his name.
Well, maybe they might have used him for just that.
I think actually Jeff would have been I think he would have been compelled at that time at the promising concept of everything.
I was too.
But I wonder why. But the thing is none of those people asked the question of, well, what technology do we have now? What's the technology coming down the pipeline? And is our project incorporating in with that? These are the
Bigfoot world.
Well, that's the thing that we need to start focusing on is that those type of questions too going forward when presented with something like this, because if those questions would have been asked and addressed, the project might have got the proper funding, and who knows, we could have found Bigfoot by now.
We could talk about that right now. You asked the question, you said what the question should be. What is the technology coming down the pipeline? Do you guys even know?
Oh, currently?
No, I know nothing about drones.
No.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be really expensive that I'm probably not going to have access to unless I win the lotto, I guess. I don't know. It's
not even that expensive, bro. It's not lotto expensive. I can tell you what the technology is coming down the pipeline. It already exists. It's already here.
What is it?
It's that you have onboard software. So this is all, again, for search and rescue purposes, which is why we have thermal drones in the first place, is to find people, not Bigfoot. It was invented to find people, which is highly successful in SARS. Obviously, a lot cheaper than a helicopter and all that, and actually much more advantageous than a helicopter. But I digress. We now have software contained in the drone system, or software somewhere in the system, that the software is so damn good, dude. It can pick out a human form that the eyeball can't see. And so it will literally, you just point the camera in a direction out like a mile into the woods, and the software will go targeting system. It picks up the human form.
Yeah, well, it would have to probably be a lot closer. Yeah, it would probably have to be a lot closer, unless this human form is laying out there on the ground, out in the open like this.
No. It can pick it up. It can pick up the human form from a mile away. Standing there in between two trees, whatever, dude. The software is getting that good.
Yeah, it's definitely getting good. So I mean, something that we can definitely benefit from, and it's just getting the technology, like getting those type of drones, and there's really no funding for it, and people don't want it, because of the failure of the Falcon Project. People don't want to put any money towards any sort of Bigfoot projects or anything, especially with the whole Project Sea Monkey crap.
Agreed. But that's what I'm saying is that when we talk about what's the next looking, like you were saying, the vetting of the Falcon Project, not looking what's next. So I just wanted to throw that example out there is what's next is already here, and it will just get better. That software, those bots, those algorithm bots that can pick up the human form out there in the woods before your eyes ever see them, like times 1,000. It's already here. It's already going to get better. Yeah.
There's some groups that I'm a part of that deals with missing people, and that's some of the technology that's been around for a while of picking up the camera itself, the software itself, picking up, going off colors and stuff. It's like, okay, so the person had a blue jacket, and it's able to be incorporated in with the software to help help scan the area so much quicker than a human eye can. Because before it's just putting all the drone footage online and allowing everybody to go through it with their microscope. It's just like, it's so much better because of it's like smart AI in a way. It is. It's just getting that into our hands.
Already here. It's already here, dude.
Just got to get a good solid expedition going for something that's a well planned out expedition with solid people that have already got solid results, and getting that type of stuff in their hands. So because like I say, the drone's a really great tool to help with the whole Bigfooting enigma is what it is.
It's extremely advanced, and that's the part I always try and get across to people, is that because there's a level of ignorance out there. They think drones are toys. And it's like, no, man, these things are extremely advanced.
The one I have is a toy.
Well, comparatively,
not the ones that people are using for actual real, like, good video and shit. It's not. Mine's a toy. Mine's like a $200 freaking toy.
No,
and I think
these are not toys, dude. They're aerial videography platforms.
The ones you're talking about, the ones you're talking about are not toys. The one I have, is a toy.
And what most people are using now are considered toys. That we can afford. The boots on the ground. All we can afford is those type of toys. We don't have 10 grand for the drone that we kind of need to go out and help with the investigation. I agree. It's absolutely a no-brainer that we need it. It's like, it's so needed, like in every single expedition it's needed that's going out there. That's such a valuable tool.
We need it. I need it.
Well, check out how research.
I was hoping to win $1 million in Vegas so I could buy you a drone, Pat.
Oh, well, thanks.
Honest to God, I told my daughter.
That warms my heart. I believe you.
I could win some money so I could sponsor some people. I was, and I got
that warms my heart.
Furniture for the backyard, and and I want to get Pat a drone.
Right, and $1 million, 10 grand. That's like a dime. It's like a dime in our pocket. But unfortunately, it is what it is, man. I'll be honest with you guys. I talk about this a lot. I talk about it with passion, obviously. And to be honest with you, dude, like, there's no way, given my current situation, I could ever afford a $10,000 drone.
None of us can. That's why we don't. That's why Bigfoot's still undiscovered.
Yeah, dude. Like, it's everything I can do to keep the late power bill I gotta pay to keep the lights on. Like, that's my freaking life right now.
Well, I got 3 kids, so I definitely feel your pain there, and it's just it's not something we have funding for, and I think that the Falcon Project, it was a black eye that made people don't want to do it. And you have the independent investigators, but there's so many people that have hoaxed, like the Utah Sasquatch getting that $4,000, $5,000 FLIR camera, and then only to find out he sells it. And it's just like, come on, it's like there's no confidence in the subject for financing others, and it's because of stuff like this. And there's zero accountability. So if people want to try and get funding or try to do that, they got to have more accountability with the things that they're presenting.
I agree. And I promise you guys, I'll be 1,000% accountability I'll bring 1,000% accountability.
Start researching how actual research grants are done, because there's people out there that give financing to projects as long as it's done in a way that is like the regular research grants are done, as far as the accountability, the action, the what the timeline is, what the budget is, and you never see that in the Bigfooting community. It's all you see is like, hey, just give me $1,000 so I can go get this camera and I'm gonna go film Bigfoot. It's like, oh really? You know where Bigfoot's at? And like, why should we give you this money?
Sure. And I get that too, man. I'm not even asking for
with the
money.
research, but having a properly done research grant, like they do in the real world, where people get grants to go out and do other wildlife stuff or whatever, that's probably how something that you might want to look into, because that might be a good route for you to go to try and get funding for something that none of us can afford, and none of us will really be able to afford unless we win the lotto. But that might be an outlet for you to try and create your own Falcon Project of sorts, but learn from the mistakes of the Falcon Project.
Correct.
You
said it well.
It's something we can learn from, and going forward.
You said that very well. Thank you, Brent.
And with that, I share this with you all.
I want ice cream.
That looks like some yummy Vegas.
That was my daughter's birthday shake right there. That one with the big piece of cake on it.
Nice.
They were nice. It was nice.
It's not nice to show this to a fat man, Nikki.
I sent it to a lot of you. Oh, look what I'm eating.
It's not helping my chocolate addiction that I have.
Right.
I gobble it up.
I would eat them both. I would have you look the other way, and I'd just take it and eat it. I'd be like, I don't know what happened. It was a cloaked Bigfoot.
Right. Like Homer Simpson style.
Yeah.
And then some of you, so many clicks just to get this. I don't know. Is it going to come on?
Oh.
Well, I'm on my phone.
What beef? I want to know what beef the Hulk had with you. I just want to know, what beef did he have with you? You're gonna have to zoom in on that, Nikki.
I know. How?
Yeah. I don't know. I could do it on my computer, but I don't know how you zoom on your computer.
I don't know.
I don't have a beef with anybody.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it was a picture of the Hulk grabbing Nikki.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Oh.
And yeah, I don't know. I don't know why the Hulk had a beef with you. You're one of the Avengers. Yeah. He's temperamental.
He came out of nowhere.
It was probably influenced by the Scarlet Witch.
He could have been like, "Come here, cutie."
I have a picture with Vin Diesel too.
Oh, nice.
Anyway, thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping things up. Awesome. Anything, Joe? Anything new? Anything old? What you want to say before you got to go?
What I want to say? Down. Well, what do I usually say?
Say it.
Don't sweat the petty stuff, and don't pet the sweaty stuff.
Love it.
Thanks for coming on, Brent.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Anything new? Oh.
No. Oh, I did a live show today of a really interesting guy that will probably be coming on some other various podcast shows that I think everybody will really like. He's very genuine. He's got a lot of good stuff. Very passionate about the subject. So be on the lookout for on like Pat's and Joe's channel too.
Awesome.
His name's Mike. He runs the Skagit Squatch Museum. Me and my son went there today.
I thought you said his name was Tim.
No, I yeah, that was before I realized I made a mistake. Yeah, like I don't know why I got Tim stuck in my eye. I was probably looking at Pat there.
Pat or Tim. Okay. And Pat.
I just want to say, to my biggest fan, Patrick Vaughn. Velociraptor suit is coming. It's a good technique, and you're gonna be eating crow when I bust that out. Thank you, Nikki.
I'm excited.
Thanks,
for it,
guys, for coming on. And I really didn't think we would talk that long about the Falcon Project. But
it was a
I
good
thought
one.
it was great. It was a good discussion. I really thought so. And thank you, everybody in the chat, for being here. I appreciate it so much. And hope to see you guys next week for sure. So goodbye, y'all.